Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Welcome everyone once again in this conversation on Ramayan. And yesterday, in the previous conversation, we were discussing about adversities and overcoming them, surpassing them. And the verse that led us to that discussion was Ramayanam nama paramam tu kavyam supunyadam vai shrinuta dujendraha yasmin shrute janma jaradi nasho bhavati adoshaha sanaro achyutah syat. Here this term adoshaha, the person becomes free from all sorts of dirtiness that has gathered in him, all sorts of deficiencies that has accumulated in him. And how he becomes so? Let's take this talk from the first stage of the first stage of this human body, childhood. When a child takes birth and gradually he sees different phases of life, he comes in contact with all the truth of life, and if he doesn't know that thing, then adversities will attack him. Like if the parents, if father and mother treat the child with over affection and his upbringing has never happened in such a way that he understands all the adverse conditions of life, what is actual life, all the hardships in life. And if he has led his life in entirely a favorable condition, in a favorable environment, and that ambience, what happens when he grows up, because life is not just one part, it's not gonna be always a comforting life for you, okay? So this life will give you different taste of it. Doesn't matter you want them or not. So if your upbringing, if your childhood, if a child's childhood has passed so much smoothly, softly and swiftly through the path of over-affection, emotions, and he has never come in contact with the adversities of life, he has never come out from the sphere of comfort zone. He has never stepped out from the perimeter of comfort zone. What happens whenever any sort of adversity appears in his life? He collapses. He starts wailing, weeping, crying, and his heart cannot suffer those sufferings because he has not trained his heart. He didn't get the opportunity to train his heart in such a way that nothing in this world could collapse him, could break him. And that thing, that perfection, that thing in life, that element to face all sorts of hardships, that teaching should happen from the very first stage of human life, gradually. And when he understands, and when he passes through this path and understands what life really is, he takes everything casually. He never gets affected by any sort of adversity, any sort of difficulties that appear in his life. And childhood is the best stage to do that, because kids learn more, gather more information, process more information than adults. It's a scientifically proven fact that children grasp everything too much fast. Faster than adults. That's why you can easily train your child to speak 5 languages perfectly, but an adult, when he crosses 40 years or so, you can't even train him to speak 1 different language perfectly. A children's mind is just so much, it's new mind. Anything new has more abilities. A new smartphone has better abilities. A new computer has better abilities. the same way, a new mind has better abilities. It's free from all sorts of clutter that we gather through the course of life. And that's why a child's mind, a kid's mind gathers, processes, takes in more information, more knowledge, more teachings than an adult does. And when we give him this teaching that life is not just a bed of roses, life is not just a smooth thing, it's also hard at the same time. And when he understands this, when he takes this teaching, and when he lives this teaching, that child becomes a hard person. Harder from outside and smooth and peaceful from inside. Has a rough body and a smooth and a peaceful and lovely soul. And that child, that kid, can never be fell down, can never be felled by any sort of adversity, by any sort of hardships, by any sort of difficulties that appear in his life. And that's how we could build a better society, a better community. And only then we'd be able to say that our future is secured. These kids are the future of any country of the world. This world, this country, take this country, India, it's not a piece of land. When we say India is a great nation, we don't speak about a piece of land. India doesn't mean a piece of land. It's the people who make India. It's the character of people who make India, which makes India. It's the life of people which makes India. It's the entire heritage that is deep-rooted in the feelings of Indian people that makes India a great nation. The people of India make India a great nation. The character of people of India make India a characterful country. So when our kids, our younger generations are better understanding the truth of life, they'll face that truth in a better way. And they could lead this country and this world in a better direction. So what is needed now is give your children, your kids, expose them to all spheres of life, to all truths of life, and give them a taste, real taste of life, what life really is. And that's how we could build a better nation. And that's what is said here in Ramayana Adosha. The person becomes free from all deficiencies. Actually, when do these deficiencies occur? When there is sadness in us, when there is sorrow in us, we generate this feeling of hatred, this feeling of apathy towards anyone, enviousness towards anyone, only when we are empty in ourselves, empty in the sense that we don't have that goodness in us. When we fall shorter, when there is a scarcity of goodness, of peace, of happiness, of oneness, brotherhood, harmony, all these things appear. And this is called deficiency. Whenever we are sad, we are in sorrow, all these sorts of deficiencies, all these sorts of bad things arise: hatred, enviousness, apathy towards anyone, bad feeling towards anyone. All these things lead to decline of ours and our relationships and the society, because we are the primary element of the society. A single person is the primary element of the society. And if the primary element disrupt day by day, degrade day by day, then the entire chain is broken. Every part of the chain is necessary. Don't think yourself as a minuscule thing. Don't think yourself that you are no one. You are the primary cause of the society. Every person is responsible to make the society well, to make this community well. And when would he be able to do that? When he is when he is free from all these sorts of deficiencies. I mean, all these sorts of doshas that is spoken in Ramayana. And then when it becomes a dosha, then we'd be able to tarnish all these sorts of bad feelings, hatred, apathy, enviousness, bad feelings towards anyone. And then we'd really become a good person. And one more thing, whenever this thing appears in our lives, that we like someone, we dislike someone, we feel better for someone, we feel worse for someone, both these things define the instability of our life. For a yogic person, there is no one who he has vengeance with, who he has any enmity with. To a yogic person, this entire world is a family. He treats everyone the way he treats his own people, own relatives. And when this thing occurs in life, a better society is built up. So this word was actually describing that don't allow anything to affect your mind. And start maintaining a stable position of your mind, of your life, of your entire existence. And then when you start living this way, you become a dosha. You achieve this state which is described in the scripture and is called as a dosha, free from all sorts of impurities. And so Gita also says the same thing. Gita is also saying the same thing. Samatvam yoga uchyate. What is yoga? Yesterday, in the previous class, in the previous conversation, I was telling you about what Gita says about yoga. And there I said, yoga karmasu kaushalam. I mean, the definition of yoga that is described in Gita physically, to define our physical condition, to define how yoga is important in a physical manner. There, Gita gave us the reference, yoga karmasu kaushalam, anything that we do properly, with complete perfection in life, that is yoga. And today, again, Gita is giving us the reference, and it says, Samatvam yoga uchyate, the stable position, the stable condition of our mind, of our emotions, of our feelings, of our life, of our entire existence is yoga. Whatever we do, whenever we are in a stable position, we're not shaken or swayed by any circumstances that appear in our lives, then we should say that we are in yogic position. And when to live in stability? What is the work that you require stability in? And the answer will be every work. All sorts of work requires stability. Without stable mind, without stable feelings, emotions, you can't compose, you can't do a work properly. To do a work properly and fluently, efficiently, you require stability of mind. You require stability of your entire condition, of your entire organ system. Your neurons, your heart, your entire bodily expressions, your emotions, everything are needed to be in stable condition to carry out a work to maintain its efficacy. And now I am saying that every work in life requires stability of yours. And it can never happen that your entire day, you pass your entire day and no single adversity, no single difficulty appeared in your work. It appears. It will appear. It's the nature of work. You pass your entire day doing some work, you cannot sit simply. Every day is passed doing some work. And in those works, you face difficulties, you face adversities, you face difficult conditions. And when you become the person whose stability is never shattered by any sort of difficulty that appears during his work, then you could say that you have gained the stability. Then you could say that you have gained the culmination of yoga. Then you could say that you have gained the fruition of spirituality. This is spirituality, and yoga is the medium to do that. Yet what I was speaking to you yesterday. Yoga is not just bodily practice, it's entire life. It resembles your entire life. When your life is stable from all positions, in your work, in your heart, in your mentality, whatever state that you gather in your body, whether it be mental state, whether it be physical state, whether it be the state of your sleeping, whether it be the state of your working, whatever the position of life is, whenever and when you start stabilizing all the position of your life, all the spheres of your life, then you could say that I am a yogic person. Yoga has generated in me, it has sparked in me, and now it's enveloping my entire existence. My aura is getting spread out in form of yoga. Only then you'd be able to say that I am a stable person. When you have gained stability in every work, and also stability during crisis in that work, when chaotic circumstances appear in front of you, when you are able to maintain stability in those conditions, then you'll be able to say that you are a yogic person. Actually, when our exam starts, what is the exam that we are? What is the thing that we could say? What is the parameter that we could say that I'm a yogic person, I'm a stable person? When adversities occur, during favorable condition, every person, every creature remains in stable state. But when unfavorable condition appears and you maintain your stability, you never break your stability, then you'd be able to say that I'm a real stable person. And that's what Gita says. Yoga samatvam yoga uchyate. Stability in all spheres of your life, stability in all positions of your life is yoga. And a person who maintains this, who has gained this thing, who has gained this power, he has passed the exam of life. And no power, no negative energy could ever keep him from rising, from elevating his life and himself, and along with himself, the others' lives. And a person who failed his exam, who failed to maintain his stability of life, of feelings, of emotions, it would be said that he has failed this exam. And then he can never achieve divinity. He can never achieve divine life. Okay? He would lead a normal life and would always be influenced by whatever circumstances appear in front of him. So, what is the essence of life? What is the purpose of life? Live the life doing every work and maintain the stability of your mind, of your emotions, of your feelings, of your entire existence. This is the one sentence that describes the entire life. Doesn't matter you're living a spiritual life, doesn't matter whether you're living a materialistic life. If you're a stable person, you're a yogic, and you have all the rights to achieve that truth, which are described in the scriptures. You become the legible person to achieve that truth, to achieve that position, utmost position of life, when you maintain stability in all spheres of life. And that's what Gita was saying. And then the next line of this verse, and we discuss a lot on this word adosha. And when you turn your life, when you eradicate all sorts of deficiencies from your life, you become a realistic person. And what is the parameter to understand there is no deficiency in your life? You become a stable person. When stability has occurred in you, has taken birth in you, then you could be able to say that I am a person who has no deficiency in him. And that's what adosha means here in the scripture. And in the next line, he says, sage says, bhavati adosha sanaro achyutah syat janma jara dinasho. He never stumbles, he achieves stability, and he never gets swayed by any sort of circumstances that appear in front of him. And so we ended this verse And the next verse that we are going to enter, it says, Varam Varenyam Varadam Tukavyam Santareti Ashu Cha Sarvalokam. It is describing the efficacy, the importance of understanding, listening, hearing the scripture. It says, Varam Varenyam, the person who hears it, listens it. It's listening it, hearing it is just equivalent to achieve the bliss of God. The narrator, sage Valmiki, is saying this. There are so many austerities. People perform so many austerities to achieve the bliss of God. All of them are good. They give us those powers, those energies, whatever. But the sage is saying that unless you have cleared your mind, your emotions, your entire internal being from clutter, unless you do that, no austerity can ever be helpful to you. So the way, the medium, the process to clean your mind from all sorts of strewn clatters that have gathered in your mind, in your entire existence, what is the way? This knowledge is the way. The scripture is the way. Ramayana is the way. So that's why he says, he gives importance, he puts load on hearing the scripture, listening to the scripture, and what it means to listen to the scripture, this knowledge, you apply that knowledge in your life. And when you do so, you become the person who never gets affected by anything that appears in his life, and that's what he's saying. I mean, he becomes, this knowledge is equivalent to achieving the bliss of God. What could be more blissful than becoming a person who is free from all sorts of dirtiness that we see in people? This is the greatest bliss of God. You become the real one. You become the real person. The form that we are seeing today, the state that we are in today, it is the transformed form of ours. It is a distorted form of ours. We were not like this. We were the creation of God. We were the best creation of the Creator. And the best creation of Creator can never have any sort of deficiency in it. Okay? The Creator has no deficiency in him, so how could his creation be filled with deficiencies? It's our bad works, it's our evil works, it's our carelessnesses that have taken us to this state that we are in, state of deficiencies. And this scripture, this knowledge, brings us to our real state, eliminates all sorts of clatters that have gathered in our entire being and makes us the truest form that we were created. This is the essence, this is the importance, this is the greatness of this scripture. And the sage says that Varam Varenyam Varadam Tukavyam Santareti Ashu Cha Sarvalokam. It is the greatest means to achieve the bliss of God. And the greatest bliss of God is that you become a pure soul, a purified soul. And when you achieve purification, there is no difference between God and you. You become the right person who resembles God. And when you become that person, there is nothing that could take away you, that could collapse the closeness of yours from God. You become close to God. You become attached to God. And when it happens? When you are purified. When you start resembling the qualities of God. This thing happens. And it is the utility, it is the importance, it is the greatness of this scripture. And only this knowledge could help you do so. So that's why the sage is paying attention and always tilting us towards the importance of the scripture, to learn, to understand, and apply the teachings of the scripture in our life. And that's how we'd be able to improve and make ourselves closer, bring ourselves closer to God and help this world in a better way. So we end our class here, we end our conversation here, and the rest part of the verse we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti.